The first showing for your home isn't when a buyer walks through your front door. It's a buyer laying in bed, 10 o'clock on a Tuesday night, pulling your home up on their phone, and then deciding in about 30 seconds whether they'll ever come see it in person. So what makes that person stop and book a showing instead of scrolling right past you? That's the whole game, and it's what this video is about. Most of it's free, and you can start tonight right from your couch. There are two things you have to get right before you sell. Get them both right and your home sells fast and close to your listing price number. If you miss on either one, you become the listing that sits for months while the price grinds you down. Stick with me to the end because I'll show you the one thing that decides whether a home sells or sits. And it's not what most people think. Here's the first thing, and it's one a lot of people get backwards. They pick a number for what they think their home is worth. Then they go hunting for proof to back it up. That's not the way it works. It works the other way around. Your buyer decides what your home is worth. It doesn't matter what you paid, what you poured into your home, or what your neighbor got back in 2022. Your price is whatever a buyer will really pay for your home in your neighborhood today, the way the market is working right now. Everything else is just an opinion. Here's the good news though. You can figure out most of this before anybody sets foot in your home. And that homework makes every decision after it much easier. The talk with your agent, what you fix, and then the price you land on. So where should you start? Pull up Redfin, or Zillow works too, but I like the way Redfin presents data. Zoom way into your own area. Don't look at all of Bozeman, just your little pocket of it. The tighter you zoom in, the more honest your picture gets. Look at every home for sale near yours. The pictures, the asking prices, and the condition. What you're doing is building a mental picture for what you'd be up against if you listed right now. There's one small Montana thing you have to know because it changes how this exercise works. Montana is a non-disclosure state, so when a home sells here, the price never gets to the public. You won't find it on Redfin or Zillow like you would in some other states. Those sites are great for one thing: seeing what's for sale right now and how long it sits before it goes pending. What you can't see is what anything truly sold for. And you might be wondering about the Zestimate or other online automated valuations. I want to be honest with you about this one. It can get you in the ballpark, but only when a home a lot like yours sold recently and very close by. And it leans on tax records that are wrong and more often than you would hope. So treat those automated numbers as a loose hint, nothing you'd set your price on. So where does the real number live? That's in our local MLS. That's the only place closed sales exist in Montana, and pulling what homes like yours are truly selling for is a quick conversation with me, even months before you list. One more thing to watch: how long homes sit before they go pending. If homes are taking a couple of months, buyers have time and they're the ones in charge. When they're going pending in a week or two, you're the one that has room to push and be more aggressive on your price. So now you've read your market. The second thing is turning that same buyer's eye back on your own home, because this is where sellers lose money without ever seeing it happen. Go back to those listings. Open the ones that sold fast and close to asking, then open the ones that sat and cut their price over and over. What's the difference? It should jump right out at you. The homes that sell the fastest around here share a few things, and none of it means you have to remodel your kitchen. First, they look clean, really clean, in every single picture, down to the baseboards, the windows, the grout. People spending this kind of money have high expectations, and a home scrubbed down before the photo shoot reads completely different from one that wasn't. They also feel a little blank, but in a good way. No family pictures on every wall, no big collections, no room that screams this is somebody's hobby. But why does that matter? Because you want the buyer picturing their life in your home. The moment they start thinking about the people who live there now, you've already lost them. So box up the personal stuff before anyone points a camera. And then the listing pictures are bright and shot by a pro too. Easy way to tell a bad photo shoot: if your windows are blown out, just white glare where a mountain view should be, they exposed for the wrong thing. In Bozeman, that's a wasted frame, because if you have a view like that, half the reason somebody's buying is for that view. Now, let's talk about the mistakes, because they cost just as much, if not more. The big one is a listing that starts strong and then falls apart. A clean living room, and then a bathroom stuck in 2005, or a garage buried in boxes. Buyers will judge your whole home by its worst picture, so don't give them a bad one to think about. And don't ignore the obvious problems either. If you won't fix the worn carpet or dated kitchen, your price has to account for it. Pretending it isn't there won't make a buyer miss it. They'll just push harder on the number they offer you. Another piece sellers underrate, especially on an empty or dated home, and that's staging. You can feel the energy walking into a home, and so buyers do too. An empty or tired looking house sits there flat. Set it up right and it feels warm, and warm gets somebody imagining their life inside. Do you have to stage every home? No. A bright and updated home can show great as is, but an empty or dated home is really where staging earns its money. And then of course, get a good agent in early, even a year or two out. Someone who will walk your home with you and tell you plainly what's worth doing and what's a waste. That early walkthrough is a big part of how I work long before a sign goes in the yard. Remember that one thing I told you to stick around for? Here it is. It's the most important idea in this whole video. When a home sits in Bozeman, the seller almost always blames the wrong thing. The dated kitchen, the busy road, the season, a buyer who flaked. But here's what's really going on, and it's the opposite of where most people point. A home that sits almost never comes down to the home itself. It comes down to how you priced it and then how you presented it. Those are both things you can control. Let me prove it with the price. I could list your home for $1. It would be gone by the weekend. Nobody would care about the dated kitchen or the busy road. Same house, same flaws, same week of the year. The only thing that changes is the numbers. So when a home sits for months here, the market is telling you something obvious, that the price, it's too high for what the home is right now. The kitchen and the road, those are just where sellers point to instead of hearing it. Now, price isn't always the thing you drop. A lot of the time, the real fix is in the presentation. So that way the home earns the price you want. Get the pictures right, price it what buyers will really pay, and both levers pull in the same direction. So who comes out of this ahead? The sellers who do this homework, walk their home like a stranger would, fixed the obvious stuff, and then hired someone who shoots real high quality pictures. Those homes sell faster and closer to asking than anything out there. The ones who get left behind, listed on a hope. A few years back, that worked. You could list almost anything and it would sell fast because homes flew off the market no matter what. That doesn't work now. Plenty of homes sat last year and never sold because buyers have time. They're using it to be picky. Here's why this matters for you. If you've owned your home 5 years or more, you've built real money in it. Doing this work is how you protect that money. And that equity is what funds what's ever next in your life. The bigger home, the simpler life, or even a move out of this valley. So here's your homework. Walk through your own home like a buyer seeing it for the first time, room by room, and note what makes you hesitate. Some of these fixes are easy and they're usually free. The bigger items are worth a real conversation about whether the money gets back to you when you sell. That list is where a real plan starts. Helping busy professionals sell across the Gallatin Valley is what I do every day. And I built my whole process, the Montana Move method, around making a move like this feel manageable instead of one more project on your plate. So if selling's on your radar, even a few years away, that's a conversation I'm glad to have. Grab my free seller's guide from the link in the description or book a call. Or if you want to look up Live in Bozeman, I have all this information on my website too. Now, I want to hear from you. If you're on the fence about selling, what's the one room you'd be most nervous about a buyer seeing right now? Drop it in the comments and I'll weigh in. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.